I'm live. Apparently I'm live. Hello. Am I live? Can I hear me? Oh, there's a fucking ad. Fucking YouTube. Jesus. What kind of jerks put ads on their videos? Wait, am I? Okay, there I am. I can hear me.
I'm live.
Alright, sorry about that. Oh, hello, Adrian. Taco Master. I love it. Hello, Taco Master. Hello, Ramsey the Arse. Hello, Cornbread. And hold on, before he says it, I'm sending out the tweet. Hello, Cornbread. Hello, Ramsey the Artist. Hello, Purple Goop. Oh, he did say it already. Austin's in there somewhere, I think. Yes, this is going to be an interesting show. Sorry for starting a little early. I saw Izzy earlier. I saw Quicksilver. I saw Super Dusky. Catbot. The chat is blowing up. We are here. All right. Should I just go to... I'm actually in. Hold on. Let's see. A different room. Yay. Look at that. I'm in a different room. It's kind of interesting, I guess. Yes, I'm in a different room tonight. Not sure. Oh, that was had a King Kong back there and he fell. All right. I had a King Kong on these things and that's what happened. It's Quicksilver. Hey, what's up? All right. So, yeah, I don't do as many streams here, but been a weird week. I did get to see Sinram. That was pretty cool in real life. Hey, Nathaniel Foga, who he said he's going to be in the chat. He doesn't have to be. He's having a good time. I hope he has a good trip. He's a trip in New York. I got to see him in real life. Had a million different family health things this week, so I've been a little like, blah. I'm kind of just want everything to be chill for a few days. So far it has been, but it's been hello pup. It's been always a thing. So, other than that, I did see the Holdovers and shot a review of that. Finally shot a review of the Chicken Run 2. Have some other things brewing. I guess I'll just do channel announcement-y stuff because this is kind of a bigger show. I wanted to do... Well, I'll get into why I didn't do two separate streams. But basically, hello, Medela Butterfly. Oh, hello. Oh, Paleo. Paleo's my favorite Barbie theory is Paleo. When I get into it, I will mention Paleo's theory about the Academy and toys is very spot on. Oh, Jesus. Jan talks more movies. I'm so sorry. That's horrible. I'm sorry about that. Whoa. I hope you're doing okay. That's hard to hear. I hope you're okay. If I saw you, I would give you a hug. But just know you can have a hug from me from here. So, that sucks. I'm sorry about that. Like Jen, that's rough. Anyway, I'm sorry to break my stride there. Oh, okay. Let's do the Mr. Seno POS podcast. You know, I was thinking about that. Someone asked me a couple weeks ago, like, well, the POS podcast, that was just a thing. That wasn't a big thing for you. And I was like, yes, it was. That POS podcast, I think, is one of the reasons people know who I am. So, Izzy, anytime you want a gym hug, just imagine you can get it. You can get a gym hug. I'll give Izzy a hug through the internet. But in general, if you're like, I could use a gym hug right now, just imagine I'm there hugging you. Hopefully that's not horrifying though. Just in a nice way, not in a I'm always behind you way. If anyone has nightmares, I'm sorry. All right. Where were we? I got majorly sidetracks. All right. Black Axelwinkle. So this is the drink. So this was guessed. We have a little game on Twitter. This is Prime. I only got it because it was at Target. And I wanted to get whatever this is, the Ice Pop one from Accelerate. And when I picked it up, it felt gross. So I grabbed this one instead. But it was a combo. The guess was between Austin guessed the hydration drink, which is not the energy drink, but Austin put Austin picked the hydration drink, not the energy drink, and Cornbread had a picture of this. I say they both get credit, but Austin did a very good job and was very close. So far, Austin's the only other one. Yeah. No, I should do your Twitch channel at some point. We need to do something again, Paleo. I'm not sure when. My schedule is horrible. But anyway, sorry. Video stuff. So, this is going to be one stream. Most of it's going to be what's usually the Oscar nominations breakdown. I go through all of the nominations. I really went through all of it. I found some cool nominations in there. It's actually interesting because the Barbie thing overwhelmed everything. Oh, wait. I should be... Oh, Cinerum sent me a text. Hold on. But first, hold on. Sorry. I said I'm really off on this. Black Samuel said Paul Blart should be the next animated Disney film. I agree. Cheers to you. And, man, there's a lot of activity going on. This is where Sinram showed me he's at this island. So that's where Sinram is. Anyway. Alright, sorry. Let's move on. I hope he's okay with me doing that. There's nothing too personal in there. But hey, William Ellman. Alright. So first off, my original plan for this week, and I probably mentioned it, was the new film art video would be on Patreon hours before the stream. And hello Jordan Slothlow, and I agree. And then it would come out Thursday. I kind of felt like I was rushing into that, and it was a cartoon I worked very, very hard on. And I kind of didn't want to just go like, here you go. Oh, it's finally out, whatever. And I was also like, I'm a little burned out from this week. So, thank you, Sodberg. I am going to have it come out on Saturday. But if you're a patron, you're going to see the new film art video on Friday night. It was just because I want to take some chill on Saturday and not do a stream and work on other projects and stuff for this channel, obviously. But and I wanted to give the cartoon its own time to be properly promoted. So that new film art video is coming out Saturday. I'm not sure if there will be at least one video between this and that. I'm pretty sure. And possibly two, but we'll see. If nothing comes out tomorrow, then you'll know there's only one. And yeah, so that's just it. It's been a crazy week. I just sort of need to chill a bit on Saturday and not do a stream. So, and I think it makes sense. Okay, hold on. We have two super chats here. Nathaniel, I'm really all over the place. I'm sorry. Nathaniel Foga said, "Did South Park teach you nothing?" I didn't actually watch the episode, so it didn't actually. Cheers to you, Nathaniel Foga. I hope MagFest was fun. Austin says, "I have good news. I have conquered the Roadhouse burger from Burger King." Awesome. Congratulations. Cheers to you. Austin is correcting himself. It says the Rodeo Burger. The other thing is, if you saw my throwbacks, throwback on Monday was the 10th anniversary of my least successful video. It was so unsuccessful. Like, nobody watched this thing. I actually looked at the analytics. Nobody watched it between 2017 and 2020. Not a soul fucking watched Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit. It's not that it's a bad video. It's just nobody cares about what I'm talking about. Like, to an extreme degree. Like, one of my major bombs. So I had to give a 10th anniversary shout out to my biggest disaster ever. So if you want to check that out. Does anyone remember that? Because of the John Krasinski thing, nobody remembers the Chris Pine Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit. I mean, like, man, what a... really one of my worst performing videos of all time. And then tomorrow, because I'm going to be posting... I don't like to do too many community tab things. One a day is enough. If that, I'm going to do the... there's a film I reviewed early on. I don't even have music on it. Called Tilly's Punctured Romance. And it has... It's 100... Oh, Sinram's here. I had it on the Discord. How about during the break, I'll send it in because I didn't set that up. It is in the Discord. Go to the Discord now if you haven't seen it. I'll show it. I did show your picture, Sinram. How's it going? I'll show it during... How about this? I'll put it... Man. I hope people enjoy me being such a clusterfuck. Okay, hold on. I'm going to send it to my... It'll be... You know what? How about this? Our image, the picture together will be the image during the break. I'm going to... But sorry, we should keep going. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, Tilly's Puncture and Romance is a review I did very early on, I think in the first year or so. And it's 110th anniversary this year, so I felt like it was very much worth throwing back to that. So that'll be up tomorrow. Check that out. It's a short video, but you learn about one of the first, I believe it's the first feature-length comedy of all time, but it's 110 years old, and I remember it was a joke in a Simpsons episode where Mr. Burns pulled out a ticket, and it was for Tilly's Puncture Romance, because he's so old, he saw a movie that at this time is 110 years old. Does fucking Stuckman do 110-year-old movies? I don't think so. Is that my competition? No, I just pulled out a name. I'm sorry. Okay. Anyway, I think that's everything. It's just been a weird couple of days. So it's fun to do this. Thank you for coming here and allowing me to do this. And I really appreciate it. So let's go through the normal crap we do before the thing. This and everything I do is supported by you. The fans, either through super chats during the show or through my Patreon, where you get all sorts of exclusive stuff. You get film art videos 24 hours in advance. You get my commentary series, which will be a new one shortly. You get more power of the movie review vote, which will be coming on Sunday. And you find out the results of the movie review vote. You get postcards. You get exclusive videos. You get all sorts of cool stuff through that. And it helps me support the show and let me do all sorts of cool stuff. And even cool stuff that I will soon be talking about but can't yet. But I publicize the show. I get equipment for the show, all sorts of stuff. If you like these videos, it's a great way to do it. And if you want to give a super chat during the show to do that, I will drink an energy drink and say what you said and all of those things, if you're, of course, financially able to do so. I should also note, since this has happened a few times, and I always write it down, I forget to say it, if you just see a live premiere of a video, and you can't be on the stream, you can do a super chat there, and I will read it out on the following Movie Crap Live. If you ever wanted to do that, you can. I just want to throw that out there. But if you're financially able to do so, I very much appreciate it. If you cannot, subscribe. You can learn about all this stream and all my other videos right when they come out. See the community tabs where I do at least 2 throwbacks a week because I have a ridiculous amount of videos, and I want to help get the old ones some love there, and find out everything I'm doing, and it just helps the channel grow. But if you just show up here every now and then, or YouTube recommends me sometimes, and you're here, thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate anyone who watches it all. It really much, I very much thank you for that. All right, but if you like everyone in the chat, I highly recommend the Discord. It has all sorts of cool stuff, including, if you're watching this, you can see my selfie with Sidram early on the Discord, as well as you can see Cornbread's thumbnail prediction, which I'm sure is 100% perfect, and all sorts of stuff like they do movie nights. I'm not sure what they're doing this week, but they did Spice World recently. They've done all sorts of cool stuff. So if you ever like seeing people in the chat or hear me talking about them, be like, I'd like to hang out with these people, you literally can anytime. They do daily questions. I put out things like, I ask what do you want me to talk about in Movie Crap Live. I get notes from them. It's an 100% great community. There's all sorts of channels, including licensed playing card channel, which I show off these, and hopefully I will do. The Samurai Cop? Cool. Anyway, it's a great community. I highly recommend it if you would like to do so. I also have Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, believe it or not, Facebook fan page. All of that crap is in the description down below if you would like to follow. And of course, Twitter, where I probably spend too much time. Anyway, I think that's everything. I want to thank everyone for being here. And let's get into the nominations. Now, I want to say one thing. 100%, please send me super chats. I love them. Because money is always good. But also, I'm going to have a ton of tabs up. So I will scroll back between categories because I'm going to have, I have my notes. I have the actual nominations. This is going to be some serious fucking shit. We're really going through this. We're not just talking about Barbie this whole time. There's going to be many more things we're talking about. So Barbie didn't get enough nominations. No. So basically the nominations had, Oppenheimer had 13 nominations, Poor Things and Killers of the Flower Moon had 11 and 10. Barbie had about 8, I think, something like that. most of the controversy of this was because Barbie didn't get Margot Robbie, didn't get a Best Actress nomination. Greta Gerwig didn't get a Best Director nomination. No, they both did actually get nominated. I think that's being lost on people. Greta Gerwig got one for Best Adapted Screenplay. Margot Robbie got one for Best Picture for producing. And I feel like you have to address this, and it's in the thumbnail, so I guess I do. But I think it's interesting when people do this with superheroes. People are like, you guys need to grow up. And with the Barbie, it's like, I was like, oh my God, this is like when people get upset that like Tom Holland or like No Way Home doesn't get nominated. It's like extra insane. But I think it's like people are very passionate about a movie. That's totally cool. I do actually think Gerwig, I think maybe should have been nominated. I mean, if I was just picking the Oscars, I probably wouldn't have done that for them. But I do think like Margot Robbie's performance sort of gets underrated. But it's also the Oscars don't nominate that kind of stuff. I also think competing art against itself is not really the point of art. Art should exist within different aspects as it shows different aspects of the human condition. And putting it in a competition is devaluing it entirely. But regardless of that, I'm going to go through all these. I just think it's like Barbie is a cool movie. I really like it. I've seen it a couple times. I have a lot of fun with it. Everybody gets those references. But I think getting as upset as people are, it got a little crazy. Hillary Clinton got involved. I'm like super lost on like how this became such a thing for people. But the thing is like it is better. And I'm real serious about this. It is better for a movie to get under-nominated than over-nominated. Or even appropriately nominated. Like, there's very few movies that go through the Oscar spin cycle and come out 5 years later as relevant. Like, I'll put it this way. This is a real thing. If you type in movies... I'm going to do this right now, actually. I'm going to prove my theory. If you type in movies 1995 into Google... Clueless and Kicking and Screaming are the first two that come up, neither which were nominated. I'm 100% certain on that for Best Picture. In fact, I don't think anything on here, It Takes Two, definitely not. To Die For, I'm pretty sure didn't. Nasty Love, I mean, maybe that's a weird one. Yeah, like Seven wasn't nominated. Where do we get an Oscar nominee in here? Mighty Aphrodite, I know, did win, so I don't know if it's not. But my point being is it sort of doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of a reputation movie. In fact, I think it can help because I think people will go, I need to remember this and, give it more attention and everything like that because they know they have to pass it on. And I think that movie was going to do that anyway. So just anytime you get upset about the Oscars, type in any year. It has to have been a certain amount of time. Don't do it if it's like 2022. Like, don't do the previous year. You need some time. But type in a year from the 90s. Look up what was important, what is now the big movie when you search on Google, because it'll tell you the ones people are actually searching for versus what's nominated. That's who really wins in the end. Because, like, Wizard of Oz didn't win a ton of Oscars when it was nominated. How many Disney animated films didn't get that and we still talk about them? So it's just like, look at it that way. Like, Clueless is now the 1995 movie. Beating out, like, fucking Toy Story. Like, Jesus. Like, it's a little stupid, to be honest with you. But, I mean, I love Clueless, but Toy Story, like, is, like, it's sort of a game changer. Same with, like, The Matrix. Jordan Slavo said The Matrix. The Matrix is now the biggest movie of 99, I'm sure. And, where is... do it in incognito mode. Okay, you know what, Tunjay? I will do it in incognito mode. Let's see. Hold on, that's a good point. 1995 movies. It's like the same, actually. It's like they're in a different order, but it's like the same movies. Showgirl's on there. The Promise. Is there any? I'm surprised Apollo 13. If it was based on my search history, Apollo 13 would be on there because my wife and I watched that sort of recently. Anyway, Tunjay, good point, but it didn't work out. All right, so let's get into the actual Oscar nominations. I will try to do animation first. I'm going to go through anything I could find, anything somewhat interesting or notable. If you're like, Jim, that's weird. Do you do this every year? Fuck yes, I do. If I didn't have a YouTube channel, I this is like the thing I do at the beginning of when the nominations come out is I really go through this shit, because you can all, and then even as much as you go through it, when the winners are announced, somebody will get up and you're like, fucking Fisher Stevens made a documentary short, what the fuck? Like, it's just like, that's true, by the way. It's just like, you never know who, there's always like somebody hidden in these that you can find. So let's get into best, I know you're ready for it, best animated. We'll go over snubs per category. I don't want to do a whole thing. Best animated feature. Where are we? Okay, best animated feature. Wow, there's like so many tabs. So there's an interesting thing about what the fuck. Okay, Google, just chill. Where are we? Okay, best animated feature. I think there's. We have Sinram. Is there? Okay, Sinram said, is there a mathematical for calculating the over or under nomination for a particular film? Don't answer. This is a joke. I mean, I think over would be when you see someone and you're like, whoa, you were just going crazy with those nominations. I'm sure people would say Everything Everywhere, but I think that one's one that's going to be around for a little bit. But I'm sure people would say that. Under, I don't know if Barbie would be, but Past Lives, absolutely. Cheers to you, Sinram. I would say Past Lives. By the way, well, I'll get to that in Best Picture. Cheers to you. It was nice to see you. Sinram deserves a lot of credit because I had to leave early because of an emergency, and he was extra cool. I really got to say. So, hats off to Sinram. But best animated feature. Let's go over the thing. The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and the big surprise, Robot Dreams. Now, I do think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles should have been in here. I think it is one of the best animated films of the year. I think Elemental probably was the one that should have been taken out. I think it's just, people feel like Pixar should always be in there. They've been nominated 18 times, more times than any other studio in the history of that fucking category. And I just think, like, why give it to Elemental? Like, what was the purpose of that? I thought that was too far. However, there is good things about this category. One, this year, Robot Dreams being in there, as much as people are like, take that out, put TMNT. No, I will support Robot Dreams because my biggest problem, and I've mentioned this before, and I think I mentioned this in the Secret of Kells review, is it has helped so many animation directors and animation studios having that other slot, and it gives them a lot of attention. And I'm very serious. Like, I was reading every animation blog at the time in 2000, whatever, when Secret of Kells came out. No one was talking about Cartoon Saloon before that got a nomination. And then everyone was talking about them, and look where they are now. That was a huge part of getting that studio where it is now. And I think part of what I do literally actually like about the Oscars is that it gets people to watch movies that they otherwise wouldn't, and it gives movies attention that wouldn't get them because of this whole insane promotion machine. It is a bullshit thing. I'm always going to say that, but I think it is really cool that Robot Dreams got in there, because now, like, I'm going to review Robot Dreams whenever it gets a release date or I can get a copy of it. Everyone is going to try to see it now who's into animation, because it's like the one movie you haven't seen. And how much money is that going to get it and stuff like that. One of the directors, Pablo Berger, I've actually seen a movie by him, believe it or not. I was like, whoa, I sort of know this guy. I mean, I said that once earlier. I don't know him. But he's in Blanca Nieves, which is a sort of a Spanish silent film he made in 2012 based on Snow White. It was like, I don't know, it's been literally 10 years since I've seen it, but yeah, he did this, like, when the artist came out and everyone was like, I'm gonna make silent films, and all of the ones that came after that fucking stunk, except for Blanca Nieves. So I will say that it was at least he like got, like, I'm gonna do Snow White as a silent Spanish film. I think it was, anyway, it's been a while. If you want to check it out, it's in there. It'll probably be a throwback when I do Robot Dreams. But anyway, Nimona, I'm not the biggest fan of Nimona, but I sort of wanted to be in there because it's a fuck you to Disney and its whole story. So I think I'll just leave it with that. However, I did want to talk about is Hayao Miyazaki is now tied with Pete Docter for the most nominations with 4. So that's cool. Hayao Miyazaki is tied with Pete Docter. Pete Docter has the most with 3. But everyone who has 2 is like people who work at Pixar or Disney. There's basically like, if you want more than one Best Animated Feature Oscar, you have to work for Disney. So anyway, I think you get like why sort of people don't like them, because it's just like, what, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it's just all of them, and it's a great studio and they make a lot of good stuff, but at the same point, it's like, that is ridiculous. So if Phil Lord, Chris Miller, or Hayao Miyazaki win, this is true, they will actually be the first non-Disney people to have more than one. It's yeah. So it's really true that like, we will never have like Phil Lord, Chris Miller, or Hayao Miyazaki will be the first to have more than one. Will have the first non-Disney person to have a 2 animated feature Oscars, which is insane. Some of the other things that I thought was interesting is that Peter Son, it's his first nomination. Obviously, he worked on other stuff and was the basis of Up, and is actually in Across the Spider-Verse as Genki Lee. So that's interesting. Kent Powers, who did Right on Soul, got his first nomination for directing Across the Spider-Verse. And Studio Ghibli is actually 4th studio, would have to be the 4th studio to have multiple wins, because the other ones are I think DreamWorks, Disney, Pixar, and then it would be Studio Ghibli. Also a big deal if they won. The other thing that's interesting, do you know what studio... I have a couple trivias. How about this? What is the studio that has the most nominations but has not won? I'll say it at the end of this category. But I think this is a strong category. It's basically between The Boy and the Heron and Across the Spider-Verse. And I guess the question, if you're voting, would be, do I want Hayao Miyazaki to have 2, or do I want the Spider-Verse franchise, when I know there's going to be a third one, to have 2? Or do I want it to have 2 because I'm going to give it 3? My personal thing is I think Miyazaki, if there's a such thing as deserving it, which I think is a stupid term, I wish people wouldn't say it, but I think out of like, because of everything, as influential as he is, I feel like he should get it. And then he has 2, and we've solidified whatever that, that legacy solidified. It doesn't matter. It is solidified. It doesn't matter. Basically, I don't know. Part of me is like, I want Hayao Miyazaki to have it, but I think Across the Spider-Verse is the better film and the more interesting film and is the future. And if I'm making a top 10, I would probably put Across the Spider-Verse over it, but they're both fantastic animated films. And it's like, I don't think you could make an animated film list this year without having Boy and the Heron and Across the Spider-Verse as 1 and 2. Which is 1 and which is 2, I don't know. I do think like Elemental animation wise was interesting, but I don't think it should have been in here. I'm curious about Robot Dreams and Nimona. Again, not my favorite, but I think Netflix and everything deserves some credit for getting in there. It's interesting they did not get nominated for Spies in Disguise, which I actually really liked. I think that's interesting. Anyway, so the answer is actually Laika. Laika has the most nominations without a win with 6. So that's something. Okay, I have another one that's an interesting one. Sorry, I have like one more question thing. I hope no one's getting mad. I don't want a repeat of the the Bluey Thanksgiving thing. Everyone I did that to got mad at me. I was like, wow, I don't think I should do trivia, baby. All right, so best animated short film. Now, I will try to do best animated, as many of these as I can. I would like to actually go to the animated short film thing in theaters, but like scheduling for me is like such a mess of a thing that like I don't want to promise anything. However, I'm reviewing 95 Senses, which is tonight, which is directed by Jared Hess and his wife Joshua Hess, who Jared Hess directed Napoleon Dynamite, which is his first Oscar nomination. And then also I have ripped Pachyderm, so I will at least be reviewing those two. I think the other three I couldn't find. If someone can find me copies, let me know. I will gladly review them on the show. We have Tunjay723 says, with a very generous super chat, says, also one of the three co-directors for Spider-Verse, Joaquin Dos Santos, isn't nominated because Phil Lord, Miller, and Pascal hog 3 of the 5 credits. Oh. I don't like that. That sucks. Especially, like, I noticed Amy Pascal was in there. I was like, I know people are, like, sympathetic towards her, but I'm going to be honest. I do not think she's a good executive. I'm sorry. I know, like, the Sony hack was a really unfair thing to happen to her, but, like, I was not into her before that. So, anyway, cheers to you, JJ723. But I have seen 95 Cents. You can find out what I wanted to say about I think about it later, but this is interesting. The other one that's interesting is War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko Ono. That is directed by Brad Booker, who's a Pixar guy. Actually, he's done a ton of work for Pixar. I don't know. I can't really say much about this, except that I thought it was pretty crazy that Jared Hess from Napoleon Dynamite got an Oscar nomination. I thought more people should have been talking about that. I know I tweeted about it, but I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy. All right, moving on. Let's just do randomly best. Before we move on, this is sort of an interesting thing. 2 franchises that got their first nominations were Godzilla and Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible never been nominated before, and obviously Godzilla, but we'll get to that in visual effects. So, just because I have it in my notes in a very weird order, Best Supporting Actor. So this Best Supporting Actor, what do we have here? So, this is an interesting one. We have 4 actors. Interesting fact. So Sterling K. Brown and Jeffrey Wright, both first-time nominees. The first time 2 black actors from the same movie were nominated together, apparently. But Sterling K. Brown with his first nomination for American Fiction, Robert De Niro, Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr., Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling for Barbie, and Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. Now, this is interesting for a lot of reasons, but one is Robert Downey Jr. It's his 3rd nomination, second in this category since Tropic Thunder. He has never won. Ryan Gosling's 3rd nomination, first in this category, but Mark Ruffalo is now tied for the most nominations with people like Jack Nicholson. Mark Ruffalo has never won, but all his nominations are in the supporting actor category. However, Robert De Niro, who's won previously in this category for, Godfather Part 2, he won in this category, and he's obviously won Best Actor before. This is his 9th overall nomination, and he's obviously won lead before. He's the only person in this category. There's not a lot of previous winners, but he's the only person who's won before. I do think one thing that's interesting, there's a mini Taxi Driver reunion this year with Jodie Foster nominated for Best Supporting Actress, like she was for Taxi Driver, and De Niro and Scorsese. So they should do something with that, Oscars. You got everybody from Taxi Driver nominated, I'm pretty sure, nominated again. I think this is Robert Downey Jr.'s year. I think part of that is probably due... I think Iron Man is a part of this, and a lot of people said, it's because of Endgame, and I'm like, I don't actually I think part of it is Endgame. I think part of it is he's made a lot of people a lot of money. He is a really good actor. Like, most of the reason they could get top talent for the MCU was because of him. People wanted to work with him, but as well as I actually think it has to do with the first Iron Man, and I've noticed since then people are looking at it and going, oh man, that was a pretty historic movie. And as much as Hollywood rewarded like the rise of Johnny Depp in the 2000s, they sort of left Robert Downey Jr. alone. And I felt like I do like him as Iron Man. I think he did a great job, but I thought his first Iron Man he should have actually gotten just a throwaway Oscar nom. I thought that would have been... I actually do think he's very good. It's a very Altman-esque movie, and Downey knew exactly what he was doing. I thought he should have gotten a nomination for that. So I think it's sort of a culmination of he was the biggest movie star in the world through the entire 2010s, but he did still great acting. Like, he's a great actor. So I think a lot of it was that. Cornbread, why did you watch Doolittle? I told you not to do that. I forgot Tom. I forget so much about the movie. That's like, those months where it's like 2020 before COVID. Like, that's a weird time period. But yeah, I think right now, I think supporting actor and actress are pretty much a lock. But moving on, because I ordered this weird. I'm sorry. Let's do visual effects. Visual effects is probably the most interesting one, and probably one I'm happy about the most, because I think for a while, I think I was complaining about how everything in the Oscars is like the same bunch of movies, and I'm like, it gets kind of boring. And this one, they actually loosened it up. But first, the biggest one here, and the one that got clapped at during the nominations, was Godzilla -1 got Godzilla its very first Oscar nomination for a Godzilla film. I'm happy that it is a Toho Godzilla film, not just like, if it had been like an American one, it's like, good for you, or Godzilla in name only or whatever. But I think that's like a pretty historic, one of the big historic nominations this year. Okay. Apparently I'm celebrating. Dan gave his third super chat on a live stream. Okay. That's a weird. I know we did that. Anyway, thank you, Dan. That's very generous. He said, I still can't believe we live in a timeline where a Godzilla movie is up for an Oscar. I never thought I'd see the day. I am shocked too, honestly. By the way, I think it should have been up for Best Foreign Film or Best International Feature or whatever, Best Picture, stuff like that. But it is awesome. Cheers to you, Dan. Thank you very much. And I can't believe it either. The acclaim we're getting for Godzilla this year is pretty amazing. Cheers to you. The other ones, and from a previous Godzilla director, actually, the creator got nominated. I think it's because the visual effects were really impressive. I actually like that the creator got tech categories, because was it a good movie? No, not really, but the visual effects were really cool, honestly. And and the tech stuff, I do think should get nominated. This is what I want from the tech categories. Like, nominate stuff that isn't good, but the tech is great. And I think the creator benefiting from that is really cool. We also had Guardians of the Galaxy, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, which deserves it. I mean, the motorbike thing, it combined practical, because obviously he really did ride up there. I'm not denying Tom Cruise, but all that was like changed in visual effects, and it looks seamless. Like, you don't even notice it, even though you actually do know that it's not like that. And then Napoleon. Now, I wanted to bring one thing up about this category, which you might not know. This is why I go through this. Who the fuck is Neil Corbold? Now, before you're like, Jim, why do you hate this guy? I don't hate this guy, but he has the riskiest proposition of all Oscar night. Neil Corbold is nominated for the creator, for Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1. It says Dead Reckoning Part 1 on here, by the way, Paramount, and Napoleon. So Neil Corbold has the option of either winning and losing twice, or if Godzilla wins, Neil Corbold could simultaneously lose 3 times. He could be such a loser that he loses 3 Oscars in one category. Like, that's like, I mean, I've never screwed up that bad, but whoa, Neil Corbold, I mean, you go, man. That's amazing. Now, it's probably because productions and release dates and all those things, but the fact that he's nominated 3 times, like, he has as many nominations as Christopher Nolan. Like, what's going on? What? Anyway, anyway, this is why I go through them. I'm looking at you, buddy. I just want them to go have Neil Corbold. I just want someone to make a joke that he could potentially be the biggest loser of the night. Like who loses? Oh my god, he could be the biggest fucking loser in the whole world. He has accomplished way more than me, but it makes me laugh that he could be such a fucking loser. He could lose so bad. I mean, he's still at the Oscars. Okay, I probably brought up the Godzilla thing. I tweeted this, but I'm very serious. I want someone to show up in Godzilla man in suit, as they used to say, come out, have a bow tie on, walk the red carpet, and then every time, I'm serious, Oppenheimer wins, they just cut to him, and he progressively gets madder. And he's just like, I can't. Like, he just like, first he's like, everyone's clapping, and he's just like, like this, and he slowly gets mad. And then if Oppenheimer wins Best Picture, atomic breath, like just like brah, and like it like explodes the ceiling. I think that would be cool. Why are we not doing that? Like, Godzilla's nominated. Let Godzilla show up. You can get. I also want one of the guys who's still alive who did the suit should come and do it, and they should pay him a lot of money. So. I just think, come on. Anyway, let's stop talking about how much of a fucking loser Neil Corbett is. This is my... Hey, if he wants to come for me, I don't give a shit, I mean, clearly he's done a lot of work. Maybe too much. Some would say too much. Too much. You know what? He's a victim of his own success because he's not going to win. He's going to lose 3 times. Sorry. I think he is going to lose. Wow, that sucks. That sucks. It's like, how many Oscar nominations you got? And he like increased by like a significant margin. All right. Anyway. All right. I think Godzilla will win. I really do think people believe in Godzilla for this. I think it's anyway. So best. I'm sorry this is in such a weird order, but I'm just gonna go with it. Best director. So this we have Justine Trent from Anatomy of the Fall, Martin Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon, Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer, Yorgos Lanthimos, Poor Things, and Jonathan Glazer. For Zone of Interest, Jonathan Glazer, if you didn't know, directed Virtual Insanity and Virtual Insanity and the Karma Police Radiohead video. Check out his. I don't know if I have the DVD of his when they make those director series, but check out some of his music video work. It's pretty inspiring. I haven't seen Anatomy of a Fall. I'm probably going to see it this week, actually. So I don't know. She was the 9th woman actually nominated for Best Director. I did like the reactions where people were like, "Hey, don't worry that Celine Song and Greta Gerwig didn't get nominated. We found another woman to nominate, so it's not that bad." And I was like, "Oh my god." I do think they probably could have, like, I thought, because Barbenheimer was so much about films that were like director driven, they probably could have just nominated her. I think that was a dumbass idea. But anyway, it's her first nomination. Yorgos Lanthimos second. Directing nom, but 5th nomination overall. Christopher Nolan only his 2nd director nomination. He's actually been nominated more in screenplay with 3. And Martin Scorsese has 10 nominations. Now, if you notice, if you read this anywhere, they're like 10 because he has the most nominations of any living director. It's interesting you said living because William Wyler and his dead ass actually has more was it 12 or 14? Ah, damn it. I'm going to go find out. I'm going to go look it up. But it's William Wyler who directed Ben-Hur. Not related to Billy Wilder in any sense. He has 12. William Wyler, he directed Ben-Hur. He directed Roman Holiday, The Letter, Wuthering Heights, the 39 one, The Best Years of Our Lives, The Collector. Did I see The Collector? The Letter's really good, though. Detective Story. Oh, that's a good one, too. Anyway, so I think Martin Scorsese would appreciate the William Wyler of it all, but William Wyler has 12 nominations, so I guess he's better than Martin Scorsese. I like that Martin Scorsese has that many nominations because I like Martin Scorsese. How could you not? He's awesome. Let's be honest here. This is Nolan's to lose unless Nolan comes out that's saying like, hey, I'm super happy about the war in Israel or something. I think Christopher Nolan has it. I'm curious. I've heard little in his speeches about like, oh man, that atomic bomb probably, kind of sucked, right, for the people that he jumped on it. And I think it's like a little, I don't know, like James Cameron had to apologize for Titanic. Like I feel like a lot more people died in like the Oppenheimer stuff than the Titanic. I mean, I didn't like count, but like I'm just gonna like round and like I'm pretty sure. So I'm curious if he does that. That's all I'm saying. I think Godzilla should just be like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Anyway, Scorsese has better sets than to do Ben Hur. All right, where are we? Best film editing. So this is a new thing that people think, and it's sort of like I love some of these things that people just keep doing with the Oscars, like when they say, "Do you think it directed itself?" Ha ha. Cause okay, first off, that worked when there were 5. There are not 5. There are 10. There are obviously going to be people nominated for director who are not people who are nominated for best picture who are not nominated for director. Like that's gonna happen. So stop it with that buzzword. I get it, it's a cool line, but like it's not really a good line. Just stop doing that. It's not funny. It's like the thing where people go, "Hey, I'm going to talk about an indie movie who's called Star Wars," and you're like, dude, it's not. Why do you that is like a big pet peeve when people go, "Oh, we're going to talk about this small indie movie called Spider-Man No Way Home, ha ha, get it?" I'm like, shut the fuck up. You don't talk about no indie movies. It'd be funny if like somebody who did that said it, but like everyone else, it's like whatever. Anyway, sorry, pet peeves of mine. But best film editing, we have Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. People believe that this would have been the 5 best picture nominees had we stuck with 5. I guess, guys. Sure, why not? Okay. Anyway, Thelma Schumacher, of course, dominating in this category. She now has 9, the most ever. She's won 3 times, and her first nomination was actually for Woodstock, which is pretty cool. The Holdovers nomination actually was kind of a shock for people. People didn't expect that to go in there. I actually thought the editing was pretty good. I don't know if there's anything I would have put in here. Maybe Past Lives. Actually, you know what? I would actually put Spider-Verse in here. I think this is one. I know everyone's going for score, and I don't disagree. But I gotta say, I think of the flow and how crazy and how many versions. Actually, never mind. I take that back. Fuck that. You guys couldn't even finish the damn movie. You don't get that. You don't get a nomination for that. You gotta finish the movie. You can't be putting out 2 versions. Forget it. I rescind my snub. What else would I put in here? Actually, you know what? I was disappointed at the utter lack of anyone caring about how to bomb a pipeline. I was like, everyone talks about how liberal and cool they are all the time. Like, come on. Nacho and Dog, of course. I love it. Thank you, Gus Meyer. I thought that I probably would actually put in best film editing. But hey, congrats to Thelma Schumacher. She rules. So best costume design. I don't have much to say about this. I know, chat, calm down. Stop talking about costume design. Stop. Don't get too mad about Napoleon's nomination. I know you're upset. Just everyone, stop it. Stop. Don't do that too much. It's great. Calm down. Sorry. But the same costume person from Barbie also did Little Women. Good for that person. There's not much to say except if you ever wondered who has the most nominations for best costume design and can anyone reach that, no one will ever. Edith Head has 35 nominations in this category. No one is even close. Do not fuck with Edith Head. She has 35 nominations. Look up who Edith Head was. I don't know if she ruled, but her costumes were pretty nice. All right, best makeup and hairstylings. This is actually interesting. They always put some weird ones in here. Golda, which I'm pretty sure didn't get like a release, but was a Fathom event. Is that like a first? Is Fathom events like celebrating right now in their in their offices. But best makeup was gold on Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, which probably win, and Society of the Snow, which definitely helps out that film a lot. Um, uh, yeah, so I kind of want to watch Society of the Snow, and then I said, oh, I'll watch that in parts while I eat lunch, and everyone laughed, and I was like, I wasn't being funny. That's how I, what? And it's like about cannibals, but you know what? I don't fucking care. I'll do it. Whatever. But I think it's probably gonna be Poor Things. Anyway, I'm just surprised Gold had gotten there because like it's like Fathom Events. Like how did that? Anyway, good for you, Fathom Events. You deserve it because it didn't get like a real release, right? I don't think it did. All right, best cinematography. This one actually surprised me in certain places, but we have Poor Things with Robbie Ryan, Oppenheimer, Hoyt van Hoytema, Maestro, Matthew Betweek, sure. Killers of the Flower Moon, Rodrigo Petro, and El Candide with Edward Lachman. I'm a little surprised by El Candide because it got no other nominations. It's like Chilean black comedy horror film. I don't think it got any others. That's a kind of a weird one. So I think, so what happens with the Oscars, if you didn't know, each of the branches come up with the nominations, and then everyone in the voting base votes for the winners. So that's why sometimes you get like weird ones like that. But I kind of actually like that. For that best cinematography, the one fact that I found out that was kind of interesting is Hoyt van Hoytema, who's done a lot of cool stuff, like even like Let the Right One In, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, Spectre, which not a great movie, but that opening tracking shot is amazing. He's a great DP. It's only his second nomination. I was actually surprised. He's one of like the top DPs right now, and he only gets 2 nominations. Like, what are we even? What's going on there? I was a little shocked by that. The guy who shot Killers of the Flower Moon also shot Brokeback Mountain. It's his 4th nomination, and Lachman, who shot El Candide, also shot Far From Heaven. So he's known in the Hollywood industry. I think that's probably why he got a nomination, to be honest with you, most likely. All right, best production design. I don't have, do I have any notes on it? No, not much interesting stuff here is what I wrote. I think Barbie should win, but Oppenheimer, why is Oppenheimer in production design? It was just all black and shit. Are you fucking kidding me? Get Oppenheimer out in here. Put Spider-Verse in there. You fucking, fuck that. No. Oppenheimer, production design? What, so they could wear stupid suits? What the fuck is that? Like, that's, come on. Production design, my ass. Like, what the fuck is that? I'm sorry. No, I'm not putting up with that shit. This is a fucking stupid ass one. Fucking right. Best sound. Best sound is interesting because, again, we got some interesting nominations. The creator got in best sound as well, which I think is well deserved. It was a cool, well done movie. We have Maestro, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, still part 1. Are we going to change that by the awards ceremony? I'm actually curious. I'm curious if they change that by that. If you're going to make such a big deal about changing it, you know, put TMNT in production design. You should. And Oppenheimer and The Zone of Interest. I do think, I would honestly, because I saw both the creator, I saw 3 of these in theaters. I would either go creator or Mission Impossible, to be perfectly honest, because I thought they're very well mixed. I haven't seen Zone of Interest, and Maestro is actually the movie I'm putting off. So nobody, I pick a movie that I'm like, I kind of need because there were sets built. Jim, thanks, Evelyn. Anyway, I always pick a Best Picture nominee that I feel like would definitely bore me, or just for my own mental health, I just pick one. And Maestro, you won this year. All right. Best. So I have heard Zone of Interest. I used to do a lot more sound stuff, and Zone of Interest, actually, I've heard all the big sound people are freaking out about, and it's actually kind of cool. I know it to be real and not be as big of a jerk or joke around and stuff. Zone of Interest is the kind of sound stuff that is more better sound mixing. They usually just pick bigger movies. Although I will say the bigger blockbustery movies they picked were very well mixed. But Zone of Interest is kind of, there's like actual sound theory and stuff that's probably more written about Zone of Interest than the others. So I think Zone of Interest is more for the sound mixers, but it's not going to win shit. So it's probably it's probably like Oppenheimer, but we'll do predictions at a later date, full predictions, because as I say, you can't really predict it at this stage because you never know who's going to say some dumb shit. All right, best original song. So we have a controversial one in here actually that I'm curious about. But What I Was Made For from Barbie, A Song for My People. I'm not going to try to say that. It's not good for anybody. From Killers of the Flower Moon. It Never Went Away from American Symphony, from John Baptiste. I'm Just Ken from Barbie, and The Fire Inside from Flaming Hot from Diane Warren. Diane Warren, how many nominations does this lady have? It's like insane. She gets nominated like every year. But she has the most noms without a win, actually, in that category. I forget what it is, and I should have looked it up. But Flaming Hot, The Fire Inside, that kind of started controversy because that was a Hulu movie that wasn't released in theaters, and a lot of people are questioning its eligibility. And I haven't heard a actual response, and I'm curious if that becomes ineligible. I know they usually nominate how many nominees? Winners of it's 14. Diane Warren has 14 nominations without a win. That's insane. But she always gets one for like a weird movie no one's seen and stuff. But it's because no one's sure if it ever really played in theaters. So people are questioning its availability, or if maybe that's fine for best song, or like what the deal is with that. So I am curious if someone from the Academy will actually clear that one up. But of best song, I mean, it's interesting because John Baptiste already has an Oscar. Billie Eilish already has an Oscar. Mark Ronson, who's also nominated for a Barbie song, already has an Oscar. Be his second. So I am curious who will win. I think it'll probably either be one of the Barbie songs, or if not that, then maybe the John Baptiste. I wouldn't mind if Killers of the Flower Moon. That was a nice way to end the movie. To be honest with you, I think that would be cool. So I think it'd be kind of a nice way to end it. You know what I mean? I don't know. This is a good way to do it. So it seems like you guys are like super pissed off about score. There are interesting things about score, and it's not what you're thinking, but we'll go into it. There's only two things, I guess. But obviously with best score, well, I'm going to list them off because this seems to be a big category for everyone, and please chime in, actually. So best original score, we have American Fiction with Laura Karpman, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, John Williams, Killers of the Flower Moon, Robbie Robertson, Oppenheimer, Ludwig Göransson, and Poor Things with Jerkskin. Jerskin. Sounds like Jerkskin to me. Fred, guy who did Poor Things score. Obviously, I think Across the Spider-Verse should have been here. I think it got kind of under-nominated because you look at what Metro Boomin did, you look at the score in that, it should have probably gotten a Best Original Song. I would have put Hummingbird over the Billie Eilish song because I don't really like the slow Billie Eilish stuff. Like, I don't get like the Gen Z, like I'm never like why does Gen Z do this? But my only honest thing is like, why do they do those slow songs where it's like, this is about a serious thing, and I'm like, ugh. Can we do a fun song about a serious thing? I think that's a lot more interesting. It's just like, get it is it's slow because it's serious. I'm talking about a serious thing. It's like, I get it, but like, move on. I think John Williams, he's the oldest. Who is that? He's the oldest nominee of all time. He now has the it's his 48th in this category, 54th overall. I think John Williams has had enough. I think that was probably just because he's John Williams. The more interesting one, the one we should be Spider-Verse should have been in there. Mutant Mayhem should have been in there. I 100% agree with that. I would have picked that over Maybe Oppenheimer. I just sort of Oppenheimer's all right, but the Robbie Robertson one is actually interesting because it's posthumous. He died recently, and he hold on, I gotta plug in the charger. This is not gonna go well. But yeah, he died recently, and he's a longtime collaborator of Martin Scorsese, and it's his. Okay. It's his first nomination. He actually didn't get to live to see his nomination. I thought it was a good score. It's a little more unconventional. I kind of think Robbie Robertson, obviously from the band, you should go listen to them. They're pretty cool. I sort of wonder why we haven't heard more support for that. I hope Apple and whoever's doing it should bring up that, like, hey, this is most likely his one and only nomination, and he's Robbie Robertson. He's a pretty momentous music person. Sort of feel like maybe we should give it to him at this point. I think it would be a nice honor and tribute. I actually like the score quite a bit, and think he should be nominated. I think that would be actually pretty cool. So, yeah, and he's a longtime Scorsese guy. All right, so, but I agree with you all. Spider-Verse should have been nominated. Ninja Turtles should have been nominated. I think this does not. I think the problem with the Oscars is they don't reflect the year they're in, and I think very much so with this one. I should probably hurry up. I'm wondering. Best live action short film. Before you're like, you have something to say about this? I actually do. Wes Anderson got an Oscar nomination. I bet you didn't even know that shit. He actually got an Oscar nomination for Best Live Action Short Film with The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. Wes Anderson made a bunch of these like Roald Dahl short films, and I think Ryan was like, "Are you going to do that?" I'm like, "I'm going to do one video with all of them," and I didn't do that obviously, but I think I might actually try to review at least this one since it's Oscar nominated. Maybe I'll review the others, but Wes Anderson. Yeah, it's based on a Roald Dahl story, but he did get an Oscar nomination today. I think everyone was like, was talking about Asteroid City when, like, Wes Anderson clearly knew what he was doing and had a live-action short film in contention. Best documentary, I don't have anything to say. It happened. Good for them. And best documentary short, I don't really know much about either. I might look up some of these, see which ones I can find, and try to maybe review some of the other ones. But Best International. Now, my issue with Best International Feature Film, and I'll bring this up every year in case you didn't hear me the other years or any other times. I have talked about this, but basically how Best International Feature Film works. Sorry, I need some water. Wes Blanderson, super dusky. I sort of like that, though. If you didn't know how Best International Feature works, basically the Academy lets each country's government pick a fucking movie, and that movie, so it's like Spain gets one, Germany gets one, France gets one, Italy gets one, Japan gets one, so forth and so on and stuff. So, like, Japan did not pick Godzilla -1. They picked a film by Wim Wenders, who is not Japanese, so, yeah, it is interesting. Anatomy of the Fall did not get nominated in this category, which I would have said it would probably going to win. Of the nominees, Society of the Snow, which is not what we talked about previously, which is by J.A. Boyena, who did Jurassic World, the second one, and was it A Monster Calls or something? He did that. I think he's a decent director sometime. Wim Wenders has a film for Perfect Days for Japan, and Zone of Interest is in here, from the UK, I guess. I don't like how this category is done. I actually think it should just run like any other category, and each country doesn't get to pick. And Godzilla -1 and Anatomy of the Fall would be in there, and this would represent the year in foreign film. Now, I hope people check out these other films, like the film from Italy and like Teacher's Lounge and stuff. If people are, I'm for. I have nothing against these specific movies, to be honest with you. I don't like how this run. I never have. I think it is bullshit. And anytime you're like, well, it's not that much bullshit, think about what is the movie. And how about this? Let's play a game in the chat. What do you think of this year would be the movie that America would pick if they had to pick for best international, the government, the American government, what would they pick? I think last year it would have been Top Gun Maverick. I don't know about this year. Let me know. I'm not gonna say. I'll let you guys sort that out. And I have like bits now. Look at this. I have like trivia. It's like we're at grandma's house or something. All right. But yeah, my point is it's bullshit. That is not cool. The government should not be picking that. And Godzilla -1, which is one of the big films, international films of this year, does not get nominated. This does not show the year of film. It just shows what governments are proud of, and I have very little interest in what governments are proud of in terms of film. Like, I could give two fucks, to be honest. Like, would you give oh, cool, the Japanese government picked this. Of course they didn't pick. Jeez, like, come on. In France, always picks the worst movies. Like, you can tell the part of France that made Auteur Theory is not the part of France that picks. Like, the Sight and Sound people do not pick the French thing. It's just, like, the worst. Like, why do they do that? It's assholes. All right. We're going to move on to the screenplay. I'm sorry. It does upset me, actually. I'm not doing a bit. Best adapted. We're doing best adapted. Interesting trivia I learned. Only 3 winners have ever not been nominated for best picture, and 1 for best adapted screenplay. That's not an issue this time, but I'm just bringing it up. It's only happened 3 times. The last time it happened in the 90s. So, yeah, at least South Korea submitted Parasite. That is a good point, actually. Could go the other way. Okay. Best adapted screenplay, we have American Fiction, Barbie with Greta Gerwig's nomination, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. It is funny. Greta Gerwig, Noah Baumbach, based on characters by Ruth Handler, so she got in there. It's fine. Nolan got his first adapted, I believe, but there's not much in this category. I think it's a pretty solid group, and I could see Barbie and Oppenheimer splitting, and American Fiction, we got so many nominations getting there. I don't see Poor Things doing that. Best Original, we have Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Maestro, May, December, and Past Lives. This original might be a better group of films there. The Holdovers is kind of interesting because Alexander Payne asked that guy to write the screenplay. It was his idea, and he didn't get credited. So that sort of sucks for Alexander Payne. Got no nominations. I like the December's in there. I think he should have gotten acting nominations, honestly. And Bradley Cooper just gets a ton of nominations this year. Him and Josh Singer have both been nominated before. I'm sorry, but Josh Singer won. Bradley Cooper has 12 nominations. Jesus, dude. All right, best supporting actress. I told you, I'm going through all of it. I'm leaving no stone unturned here. We have Emily Blunt with her first nomination, believe it or not, for Oppenheimer. Danielle Brooks for Color Purple. American Ferrera, her first nomination. Also Danielle Brooks, but that's less shocking because she's newer. No offense to her. America Ferrera with Barbie. Jodie Foster for Nyad, and Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. I would say, well, first off, Danielle Brooks had the same role Oprah had when she her Oscar nomination. But so Jodie Foster, this is interesting. This is, the Emily Blunt thing, Paleo saying, damn, it's reversed. I actually really thought she had another Oscar nomination. I think it sort of stinks that that's her first, but whatever. But with supporting Jodie Foster, this is the first time she's been nominated in this category since Taxi Driver. In 1977. She is her 5th nomination, and she's won 2, but they're both lead actor nominations. I don't think she'll win, but this is part of her sort of comeback thing with True Detective and all that stuff, so congrats. Congrats to Jodie Foster. I don't know if I'll see Nyad or not, but congrats to her. The America Ferrera thing, I think, was a surprise, but I think it's Divine Joy Randolph's. I think it's hers. I don't know if I was going to do Barbie for supporting actress. I'm confused with the America Ferrera thing. I probably would have maybe gone for like Kate McKinnon or something. But I don't know if I don't know. I can't think of who else I'd put in there, but it is a weird group. But the America Ferrera thing, I think, definitely surprised people. It's weird. It's really Emily Blunt's first. Like, that's so weird. All right, best actress. We have Annette Bening for Naiad, Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Huller from Anatomy of a Fall, Carey Mulligan for Maestro, and Emma Stone for Poor Things. We actually do have a bit of trivia here for Emma Stone. It's her 5th nomination and her 2nd in lead since La La Land, and that went so well last time. I'm glad we're back doing that. But this is actually only the 2nd time of an actress has been nominated for Best Actress and for Best Picture, and the other time was Frances McDormand, who won both. So that's actually really cool for Emma Stone. I think that's, I think a lot of people wanted that for Margot Robbie as well. It probably would have been cool to have 2 women doing that instead of just Emma Stone, but it's cool, good for Emma Stone. There, everyone else, like Lily Glad, it's Annette Bening's 4th nomination in this category and 5th overall. The only time it was supporting was The Grifters, which is a great movie, by the way. Carey Mulligan's 3rd nomination. Everyone else is new. I think it's Lily Gladstone's to lose at this point. So, we're coming towards the end, guys. Don't worry, I'll talk about that Avatar live action thing. We have like an hour left. I told you this was going to take in a bunch of 3rd Mario Kart. Congratulations. I might have to just do an energy drink soon. My energy's getting low. I might just do it without anyway, we'll see. Best Actor, we have Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Coleman Domingo for Rustin, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright for Best Actor. The first thing that's the most shocking is how the fuck is this Jeffrey Wright's first nomination? He's Jeffrey Wright. Like, when I think of good actor, literally his picture comes up in my head. I do not I was sort of shocked. He's playing Thelonious Monk? What? Wait, what? Thelonious Monk Ellison. Okay, he's not playing Thelonious Monk, right? I mean, that's... Do y'all know who Thelonious Monk is? Sorry, my dad listens to a lot of jazz. Sorry, that threw me. I didn't read the name. I gotta see American Fiction. Alright, that surprised me. He seems very happy. There's a place near me in Brooklyn that's doing like a Jeremy Wright... like a constant thing of playing like his best roles, and I was like, I hope he gets nominated, and he did actually. So good for them. I did actually see Coleman Domingo in. I saw Rustin actually this weekend. My wife was like, we should see Rustin. It's not a great. I'm not gonna do a review of it because I have like way too many review shot at this point. But I will say, it's not the greatest movie. He is good in it. It's directed by the same guy who did Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I think the direction in Rustin is significantly worse. But it is about how they brought together the... really? The monkey and babies and the Thelonious Monkey? That's cute. It's about how they put together I don't want to say protest or march that brought about the I Have a Dream speech and how that all came together. It's actually very interesting. I didn't know all that stuff. One of my big pet peeves, though, is whoever they picked to do Martin Luther King was a little weak. I think you gotta have a real strong actor for something like that. Maybe they should have gotten David Oyelowo to like come back or somebody like that. You really need a presence for that kind of a person. But Coleman Domingo is great. A couple of people brought up that it's like both Coleman Domingo and Jodie Foster it's the first time 2 out actors are portraying 2 gay actors are playing 2 out gay characters, basically. And Coleman Domingo was directed by a gay director, I keep hearing. I don't know if that's... I hadn't heard that, so I don't know. That seemed... I didn't get that confirmed, so I don't want to... If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But I like Coleman Domingo a lot, and if you're interested in that, I would see it. But if it's like kind of cheesy, the Obamas produced it, and you can kind of tell. It's very like self-serving and like, hey, things can work out for the government. It's like Obama art. Anyway, there's good and bad to that, and if you're like a 13-year-old and you're interested, I think you'd like it. It's just anyway. Paul Giamatti, it's his 2nd nomination, 1st in lead. Bradley Cooper's 4th lead nomination. Man, Bradley Cooper, you are not good enough for these many nominations. I gotta be honest there. He's like, is anyone like, oh, cool, Bradley Cooper? Like, I feel like he gets a lot of faith in Hollywood for someone who, like, I never hear anyone talking. He's never in, like, hit movies. He does, like, these weird, whatever. Sorry, I'm not gonna, like, just keep shitting on people. It's not cool. All right, so now we're at best Picture, and then we'll move on to actual news. Best Picture. Here are the best pictures: American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. I have not seen a lot of these actually. I've not seen. I've actually not seen American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Maestro, Poor Things, and Zone of Interest. I hope to actually. The only one I'm not really interested in is Maestro. Of the ones I have seen, which are Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Past Lives. Past Lives is presently my favorite. I think Past Lives is that. Okay, sorry, I haven't talked about Paleo. So Paleo brought this up, and I think it is a correct theory. And thank you for reminding me, Paleo. Is that the Academy has a thing against movies based on toys or how they perceive it based on toys, and how Lego Movie didn't get nominated, Lego Batman didn't get nominated. That's probably why TMNT didn't get nominated, because they probably view it more as the toy brand than a comic book. And so Barbie, they sort of probably had to, weren't going to give it much because they sort of disagree with IP movies like that. And I sort of think it was that Paleo's theory is one of the more reasonable ones that I do sort of agree with, that it's like they do seem to have this prejudice against toy stuff. Like they don't want to give it too much credit. Like they're fearful what the world of post IP is going to be. But it's like, who cares? The movie's good just because it isn't based on the Holocaust. Y'all have to be weird about it. So in these nominations we have certain Steven Spielberg got his 13th nomination, the most for producer. It's interesting, he has more nominations as a producer than the director, but I think he's pretty big as a producer. Margot Robbie is nominated here. This is her third nomination, and each time she's nominated in a different category. She's never repeated. That's supporting actor, lead actress, and producer. And Mark Johnson, who produced The Holdovers, actually was one for Rain Man, nominated for Bugsy in his back. I was like, good for Mark Johnson, I guess. But yeah, Bradley Cooper's in here. He got a ton of nominations. Christopher Nolan's in here. I still think Past Lives rules. Martin Scorsese's in here. Martin Scorsese got a bunch. Oh, there was this weird, I forgot to mention this. There was this weird thing that people said that the reason Killers of the Flower Moon didn't get a screenplay nomination, which it didn't, was because Eric Roth and Scorsese wrote the initial screenplay, but Paul Thomas Anderson did a lot of rewrites on it, and so Eric Roth didn't like that, and he wouldn't campaign for it, was the rumor, but no one would confirm it. So I always wondered, did Paul Thomas Anderson do research shoots on Killers of the Flower Moon? I don't know. This is an okay list, I think, again, across Spider-Verse. I think Past Lives should have gotten more. I also think of the best actors, I just bring this up, is I also think DiCaprio gave a really interesting performance. I probably would have picked DiCaprio over Cillian Murphy. The best picture ones, I think it's fine. I mean, that's a good bunch of movies. I believe is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. I like that they do 10. I think it should, if you're you either do 10 or you do 5, in my opinion. But we'll see what happens. I think right now it looks very favored for Oppenheimer. We'll see if that is how it goes. But if I was going to list, of the ones I've seen, I would probably go Past Lives, Killers of the Flower Moon, Barbie. I'd probably put Oppenheimer at the bottom of the ones I have seen at this present time. Okay. And that's... Oh, okay. Here's my last Oscar thing. Here we go. This year marks the second time a Best Picture nominee with Ryan Gosling in it, where the narrator says Margot Robbie's name in the movie. So there's two Best Picture. This is the second time there's been a Best Picture nominee, Barbie being the one this year, where the narrator says Margot Robbie's name and Ryan Gosling is in it. Let me know what you think that other movie is. I'm curious. I've asked other people and no one can get it. I always have to tell them. So I want to know what you think. All right. I think, yeah, I agree. I think the Blaine and Heron should have gotten in there. All right. Now we're actually going to talk about movie news. I'm actually gonna. No, I'll wait for another super chat. I'll leave it. All right. Now we actually have movie. Overall, I guess before I move on to movie news, is I think it's fine. I think Rams the artist got it. Good for you. I do. I'm okay with it. I mean, my personal favorite. I think the best movie of the year was Skinamarink. So obviously, none of this shit was gonna change for me, affect me that much. But I think Past Lives should have gotten more. I think Leo should have gotten in there. I think animation deserved a lot more. I think the Spider-Verse films definitely did. I just don't. I don't know. It's like a lot of it was expected. I liked the surprises a little more surprising. And I'm glad the people who never got nominated before did. And like what this could be for animation. In Best Picture, actually, I'm mentioning this now that we had three. Oh, okay. Hold on. There you go. Sorry, there was a cat stuck in my closet. Okay. Sorry about that. Also, we had three Best Picture nominees nominated. Three Best Picture nominees directed by women, which is pretty big. I think there were some pretty momentous things out of this Oscars. It's not the greatest. I don't think it represents this year in film. I think the Oscars haven't done that in a long time. And I think it's unfortunate. I think they could have maybe done that. And especially a year where we had two very director auteur laden films, it would have been nice. But I think, we'll see what happens. But I think it's probably going to be Oppenheimer and a lot of what we expected. And that just feels kind of boring. But I hope they mix it up a little bit and in a good way. But whatever. We'll see. I will try to review as many of them as I can. The Best Picture nominees. I don't know if I'll get to them, but maybe we will. We'll see. So anyway, sorry that. I think Buster. I'm gonna let Buster out, and then we'll get to the news. And I'll be minor break, I guess. Hold on. Okay. All right. Ow. Ugh. Yeah, I agree with the Barbie thing that I think the complaining doesn't really work when it got nominated so much. It is up for production. I think it's up for everything. A lot of stuff. Anyway, whatever. All right, so best where are we? Sorry. I was going to say best because you see the Oscar thing. Okay. The Avatar live action trailer. My thing with this. Sorry, I needed the energy. I don't like to do. It does taste kind of like those things. Anyway, I wanted to wait, but I needed it too much. I needed the energy too much. I couldn't wait. The Avatar live action trailer came out. I am sort of mixed on the whole thing. Oh, have a good night, Dan. Thank you for showing up. Sleep well. The Avatar live action trailer came out for the live action series on Netflix. I was not really into it. I don't really get the live action thing when something's animated other than Speed Racer. But I think one of the things that bugs me is like the voice acting in Avatar was like really good. Like those are really good actors. Like I like those people. And the trailer, like nobody has any energy. It feels a little bad. I just don't get like I don't get live action's obsession with it. It's like I get it's like a repackaged thing, but it just feels pretty pathetic and I just don't understand what the point of remaking it is other than the theory that you invigorate the fan base, but I feel like people forget about this bull crap immediately. So I just if I one of the things I liked about that Little Mermaid is you had Haley Bailey come in. You had like it was well cast with young people, people like those people, and it like helped continue their star ascension. Like I don't mind if you use these live action remakes to sort of help out a young star and make them a bigger name and stuff like that. That's cool, but that is clearly not what's going on. Oh, Medela Butterfly, thank you for the super chat. Cheers to you. But it did. Jordan Shalafo said it made me want to watch the animated show again. It made me want to watch that too. It reminded me of how much better that was. But like, if you're gonna do these, like, first off, like, give us some interesting take on it. It just felt like everyone just sort of wants to make a fantasy show. But what made Avatar cool is that it was more than that. Like, it was sort of a message thing week by week. To me, it's like, it's not going to be the new Game of Thrones. It's not going to be the new Lord of the Rings. It's fucking Avatar. Let it be Avatar. Cast it well, or just don't do it. Like, I don't get... Oh, congratulations, Austin. I just don't get the need for it. I don't get, like, what artistically they're bringing to the table. Look pretty morally bankrupt to me. I mean, I was trying to be nice and say, like, it looks fine, but the more I think about it, the more I hate it. It's just pretty pathetic. Like, what's the purpose, to be honest? And I'm not gonna like do that thing where it's like people hated M. Night for like a decade because of that movie. I don't really hate any of the directors. I think it's just a bland paycheck job, and good for you, I guess. Anyway, all right. So the Halle Berry, not Haley Bailey movie. The Mothership was shelved from Netflix. This is, I think, the first Netflix movie that's kind of been shelved for tax purposes. Their WB's done it and Disney's done it. And because other executives think David Zaslav is a great person, for some reason. Sorry, The Last Airbender. I think people got that. Anyway. They shelved this. Apparently there were some reshoots needed, but it also sounded like they could never get it to work in post. I just don't really see... To me, it's like a studio... I don't... Look, they released that third Cloverfield movie, and that was horrible. So the idea that they're like suddenly like the bastions of quality is sort of a joke. Like, I think this could have probably done fine. I don't know like how expensive those reshoots were, how expensive the movie was, or anything like that. That wasn't in the report. That would maybe make us side with Netflix's point of view a little bit more. But to me, it's like you should commit to like when you make these movies to actually finish them and releasing them. You don't really do promotion anyway, so it's, financially, I don't fully understand why they couldn't. Really, it's not like, oh no, we would lose money. It sounds like, I saw fucking Rebel Moon. You're going to tell me you're into quality? I don't think so, guys. But I hate this Zaslav thing. I really dislike it. I don't think it's good for movies, and it's incredibly anti-art. So Ryan Coogler supposedly has a vampire movie, possibly set in the 90s with Michael B. Jordan. Supposedly this is so under lock and key, you have to like go to their agency where their agents are and read the script. Supposedly Warner's is close to a decision. Look, you can read into a lot of things, but the fact that Disney is not one of the studios he's going to, or going through Searchlight or something, it could be that, and I do think it's reasonable to say that what he wants to do is not a Disney thing, and Disney does not have an avenue for that. If I was Disney and I had someone like Ryan Coogler, who I gave, a lot of love to his Black Panther movies, and he had to go to a different studio to make his artistic thing, I would go, oh shit, I should bring back Hollywood Pictures or something just for this guy. Maybe that they discussed it and he was like, I really just don't want to deal with you guys at all. So I don't know. I think there's something you're reading into there, but a Ryan Coogler movie with Michael B. Jordan fighting vampires sounds really cool. So we know so little about this, but it sounds pretty neat. So the Razzies. I don't have a ton to say about the Razzies, and hold on. And I know people are like, the Razzies suck and they're not good for movies. I agree. The Razzies are horrible. And they never really... They're just like not good ever. And this year, worst picture was The Exorcist Believer, right? Sure. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. uh, Shazam Fury of the Gods, Expendables 4, and Meg 2 The Trench. My thing with this, and the reason I'm talking about it, is because like I'm extra lost on how Shazam 2 was the superhero movie that ended up getting like so much attention. Like what why would you have I don't really actually understand why you would have worst picture be like why you wouldn't do like they did nominate Ant-Man for stuff, but like why Shazam too? Like why not The Flash? Why not, like there's so many you could have picked, and it's like why Shazam? Like it's just such a weird thing. Like I don't know. Exorcist, like the rest of them, like Meg 2 I guess, but like Shazam? Like why would Shazam got nominated for a bunch of Razzies, and I'm like a little lost on like the hate for Shazam 2. Like if you thought of like in all seriousness, if you think of the worst superhero movies of the year, you're not gonna think of Shazam 2. Like you're gonna think of The Flash and Ant-Man first, and then if someone reminds you of Shazam 2, you'll be like, oh, I mean, okay, yeah, it wasn't great, but it's just weird, right? Anyway, so transitioning to something that Austin wants me to talk about is the video game Until Dawn, which I don't really understand, but it is like basically like a slasher thing you see from different perspectives. They're making a movie of it from David F. Sandberg, who's left the superhero thing with directing Shazam and multiple Razzie nominee Shazam 2. I've heard people disagree with this because they're a little upset that they're making a movie of this because the whole point was it's sort of different than a movie. I think at the base level, David F. Sandberg could make a good slasher movie and do something interesting with it. I don't think he can replicate what happened in the game, and doing it, I think that might be a little difficult, although you can get into a Rashomon thing. If you want to, you could have some fun with that, but I don't think it would, I don't know. I have my, I understand why people have their doubts, because it does feel like you could just make a decent slasher film out of it and not acknowledge that, but I guess that's for him to decide. That's an interesting problem to go through, to be honest with you, and I think it's a good property for him. There's a Jurassic Park script being written by David Kemp, I wrote that down wrong. That's a good sign. He wrote the original Jurassic Park. He is a great screenwriter, a really great screenwriter, and the fact that he is doing a Jurassic Park movie, I think the thing is that last Jurassic World was really horrible with the locusts. Like, what the fuck was that? But Jurassic World and the Jurassic Park movies are huge box office things. Like, people really do like them, and they were gonna do something. And getting David Kemp back is like as close to getting Spielberg to come back as you're ever gonna get. So that could really work out. They just need a solid director. I don't know who you would get other than like a Joseph Kaczynski would probably be really good. I'm just throwing out a name off the top of my head. Del Toro's not going to do it, or somebody cool. So I think Kaczynski. All right, so I think we can finish everything I wanted to talk about, and then we can talk about what's it? 95 Senses. I'll take a break, and I actually have a pretty big obit, which I need to look up so I have more to talk about him. But okay. So there's rumors of a Polar Express 2. I think I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. When Polar Express was coming out, Zemeckis was talking all this shit about animation. We didn't need animation anymore. Motion capture was going to be everything, all this stuff. There was a screening for the Polar Express at the school I went to, and at the animation department, they put down a sheet. If you want to come, sign your name. And the sheet went around the room, and nobody signed it. So Polar Express already kind of had bad name before. I don't like the design of it. I do like the book. I like that my kids like the book and everything like that. I do not understand why you would want to replicate that. I don't get that it's a classic for people. I think it is a movie that looks like ugly garbage. I do like the book and I like the kind of tale of it, but I just don't like the rest of it. I think it is like a real bad idea to make another Polar Express, and I'm really curious how they think they're going to do that. There's a lot more questions. I think it was probably something they banded about because they probably still make money off of it every year, but I think, Nathaniel Foger, don't say you would have signed it. Come on, man. Solidarity. Jesus. We keep hearing about the Max movie. It's still going. Channing Tatum playing the Max. If it was like the Daniels were doing it, that's the only real way you could make a Max movie. It has to be someone weird. But I think we can work out Jurassic World Dinosaur House. I think Jurassic World Dinosaur House didn't work, and David Kemp will understand you can't do it. I think Monster House is the good mocap movie, by the way. But if you get Channing Tatum as the Max, could work, but you kind of need an interesting enough director to do so. Okay, so Tron 3 is shooting. I don't have much to say about that, except Tron 3 is happening. I think Disney should invest more in it because they have a lot of rides on it. The Max is a comic book / Hello, SOL2XL. Ramsey the artist, your teacher is not wrong. All right, so I almost don't want to talk about this, but I kind of I don't know. So Jonah Rodriguez from Mystery Science Theater was on WTF. It was a good interview. He sort of talked about how he didn't really like the last Kickstarter campaign. He thought going to the fans again for money wasn't a good move, is what he said, which I don't disagree with. But he also mentioned that like he's having money problems. He has to be a bartender now, which actually made me kind of sad because it was like, oh, you can be, I don't know, just like you can make stuff and you think you have a certain success and you don't have to do things anymore. But like a host of Mr. Science Theater still has to bartend. Made me kind of sad. I don't look down on people who do stuff like that. That's not what I mean. It's just like the never ending, like having to pay the bills of it all just made me sad. Maybe, I don't know. It's hard to explain, and not that I ever looked at his success as like a barometer of my own ego or something. But I know he has the movie with Alex Winter, which was what he was promoting on WTF. But it was interesting hearing what's going on and how he felt about it. And not that I don't know. It's sort of sad. Mr. Science Theater is not in a good place presently. They have the constant stream on their YouTube channel to get money of just always playing Mystery Science Theater, which probably doesn't help because Pluto's there and all that stuff. But I don't know. I get it for Jonah. I'm not. If I saw him, I would go there and buy a drink and try to talk to him too long. But I don't know. Just made me a little sad. That's all. It's a good interview. Just bummed me out. Maybe it's just a personal thing. I shouldn't have. Anyway, we do have a pretty big obit, and that was Norman. And then before the break, I do want to talk about it. That's Norman Jewison. Now, his two biggest movies, he has a bunch of big all-timers. Moonstruck, I think, is the one that comes up the most. Sorry, here we go. Moonstruck, which is an amazingly great movie. There would be no Silver Linings Playbook without the genius of Moonstruck. Cher's really great. Everyone's really great in that movie. In the Heat of the Night as well. And the Thomas Crown Affair, I would also say Rollerball. And he directed, I don't like his Jesus Christ Superstar. Oh, I forgot he did Hurricane. He directed The Hurricane with Denzel Washington. Denzel should have won for that one. And Justice for All, A Soldier's Story. Man, he did a lot of big ones there. Oh, Bogus? I didn't know he did that. That's kind of bogus. They did Bogus. But anyway, he did a lot of great stuff. Did he really direct The Stupids? There's no way. Okay, some of these he produced. What the fuck, Google? Anyway, he was a pretty major director, I think, just in the Heat of the Night, Moonstruck, and that. But I was sad to lose one of the major American directors this week. So if you've never seen Moonstruck or Thomas Crown Affair or In the Heat of the Night, I highly recommend all three. All right, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Then we will do 95 Senses. Then we will do questions. I'm going to do Galloping Gaucho at a later point. I would like to do as many of these short films for Oscar stuff as I can, but Galloping Gaucho will still happen, as well as other stuff. So anyway, well, I'll talk about 95 Senses. By the way, if you haven't seen the short, I don't think you have enough time. I won't be that long. Try to, because it said on that link that it's only there for a limited time. So if you want to see that short, do so after the stream or something and watch it tonight, because it might not be there tomorrow. I do not know when it leaves. If you have that information, put it in the chat, but I highly do recommend it. I think it's a pretty cool short. Anyway, thank you, Austin. I'm just going to use the bathroom. I'll be right back, and then we'll finish up what we're doing. Okay? Okay. Okay. What do y'all think is playing? I don't know. I didn't mute the mic. Oh, well. All right. Oh, I meant to put... Hold on. I forgot to do the thing. Let me put a image. Oh, it can't be... Fuck. Hold on. Oh, see you, Medilla Butterfly. Thank you for being here. Hold on. Sorry, this is so... Okay, hold on. I meant to show... oh man, why is it upside down? Okay, never mind. Go to the Discord. Forget it. Forget it. I don't have the time to mess with it. Apologies, Sinram. Whatever. Okay. You'll probably... Well, it's in the other room. Okay. Let's just get into it. Let's get this thing finished. All right? Okay, so the only segment tonight is 95 Senses. This is the... okay, so tonight I'm going to talk about 95 Senses. This is directed by Jared Harris. This is by Jared Harris and Joshua Harris, a husband and wife team. It is uh, about an old man reflecting on his life sort of through his senses. The old man is played by Tim Blake Nelson, very well, by the way. And it kind of experiments with animation. You see it more of a sketchier, weirder kind of style. It goes between each one. You hear him talk about like sight and sound and smell and things like that. It kind of goes into his life and how his senses affected his life and where he is now. I don't really want to reveal anything, and there is sort of a things to reveal if you watch it, which I think anyone in the chat who did don't spoil it, but I think that reveal is sort of central to the enjoyment of the piece. But I do think it, like Jared Harris, who most people know as the director of Napoleon Dynamite, and Nacho Libre and stuff like that, this feels very different for him. Much more versatility than I expected from him. And this is nominated for an Oscar, and this is his first Oscar nomination, but it's really makes me think he can handle a lot of different stuff than I ever thought he could. Kind of shows him very much as a storyteller, shows what he can do as a storyteller, shows how impactful he can be, but also like how you can take a simple premise. And I think this is one thing short films can do really well, like going through your senses and telling your life story, and make it like show the whole image of a person and their lives. And I think Tim Blake Nelson brings that to it, but also makes it kind of a little like light-hearted in a sense, but also kind of folksy and down home, and like the possibilities of life and what it sees from that and everything like that. But I do think like it just shows where you could end up with your senses and things like that. It's a very excellent short. I was really surprised by it. I mainly just saw it because I could see it, and I saw Jared Hess had done it, and I was extra curious how they could get an Oscar nomination. And I thought it was a really fantastic piece of animation, and I it's one I've watched a few times because I enjoy it very much. And I think if you get to watch it, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And if you're in a Napoleon Dynamite and you're like, I don't want to watch anything too heavy or anything, don't worry. I think it rides that line well enough that you will be happy with it. But it's not, even though I'm probably going to, when there's a separate thing, bring up the Napoleon Dynamite thing, or am bringing up the Napoleon Dynamite thing, there's not as much of a connection to that. But it does feel like someone who's aching to be a storyteller and more than we've really seen from him and his wife. And I'm extremely curious what the aftermath of this short film will be, or maybe it's just a weird one-off, but what an interesting one-off of a short film it is. Okay. Al Vasquez says, do you think the short is what he was aiming for, the live-action Nicktoons movie he's trying to motivate Nickelodeon and Paramount to do? I keep hearing about that when I bring up this thing. I don't think that was a part of this at all. That's my interpretation of it. Okay, I think, I'm not sure what post Austin's questions are, but let's go through the Patreon questions and then we'll do questions below. Maybe we'll actually end early. But let's do, Nathaniel Focus says, what do you consider the Razzies' dumbest nomination? I would say anything involving The Shining. Sinran asked, the 2014 remake of RoboCop, maybe not terrible? I mean, maybe. Jordan Richard, are there any sports teams you have rooted for or currently root for? I do not pay attention to sports at all presently. When I was a kid, it was the Orioles. The Ravens can't, like, when the Ravens hit, I was in high school. Like, the football thing missed me, but I did get into the Giants for a year, and then I didn't like that they got to the Super Bowl that year, and I got out of it. I was disenfranchised. So I guess that's, there's Austin. Okay, Austin's question at the end. The Austin spot, as I say. Jim, he said, "Hey Jim, sorry I forgot to write it sooner, but great show as always. I'm writing this on the fly. Question, what do you want the plot of Kingsman 3 to be about?" Sort of don't want there to be a Kingsman 3, to be real honest with you. But if you're going to make a Kingsman 3, I would like it to go back to sort of the wealth disparity stuff. In the first one, it'd be interesting to see them, like the second one, that weed plot was horrible. I don't know what they were thinking with that. Maybe them, like, fighting world leaders to, like, not go to war so much. Maybe. I'm sorry. I'm feeling a little sleepy now. All right. Okay, let's do the other question. I hope that was good, Austin. I apologize. Cornbread says, does Mario not getting nominations indicate that the Academy hates gamers since gamers are oppressed and Mario made $1 billion so it deserves to be nominated in everything? Joking. I do think you could probably make more of a case that's more historic for Mario to be nominated than Elemental. And I think it should have been up there for song. It would have been cool to see Jack Black and then Ryan Gosling together. I think it's also a thing, like Paley was saying, like, they don't like games, they don't like that kind of IP. They're very serious. They barely let comic books in. You think they're going to let video games and all that in? I don't think so. Question, RoboCop 3 starring Kevin Karnas as Paul Blart, RoboCop. That's funny. Nathaniel Foga, question, what's something you'll be shocked is turning a decade old this year? I've been through a lot of it, but I guess Guardians, maybe. I kind of had to go through for throwbacks and stuff, so a lot of it I actually already know. Maybe American Sniper, maybe. Boyhood is probably one. Boyhood. Ramsey the Artist, what movie/TV show character do you think is perfectly cast? Not to be a jerk, but Indiana Jones. Yeah, Indiana Jones and Harrison Ford are perfectly cast. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine's perfectly cast. Christopher Reeve's Superman. Kevin Conroy's Batman. Let's say that. What was the worst movie of 2023? Al Vasquez. I think you'd either have to go Flash or Ant-Man. I can't think of a like, I don't think they're that horrible. I don't think this year, I mean, Exorcist Believer was really bad. Like, I don't really mind that being in there. I think it might be that, so. How many jackets, Nathaniel Focus says, would you wear when it snows? I guess I wear a jacket and a hoodie. So that, I guess that answers that. I don't know. Black Saxon's Winkle, do you like popcorn? If so, how do you prepare it? I've had not great instances with popcorn where I got food poisoning from popcorn at a theater. So I stopped eating popcorn at a theater. I don't really ever have popcorn unless my daughter gets popcorn. And we used to do Jiffy Pop, and then I did one and it didn't blow up, it just started smoking, so we don't even do that. So I usually just have it with butter, but I don't do it that much because despite being a movie person, it didn't work out for me. So Jordan Salavalo said, if Best Picture included more than one animated movie nominated, what movies from this year would you choose? Include more than one. I mean, it would be either Boy and the Heron or Across Spider-Verse. I would go with Spider-Verse first, though. Sandra Foga, favorite Matthew Vaughn movie? Probably Kingsman, then Layer Cake. I don't really like Kick-Ass. Cornbread, did you see the thread from the Ghost and Molly McGee showrunner thread on its cancellation, or the Moon Girl Dinosaur staff's response to expecting similar for them? I didn't see that. Maybe I should have talked about Moon Girl because I've seen a lot about that. But my thing with Moon Girl, I don't. It being dumped on Disney Plus is not, because nobody cares about. Kids don't watch linear TV. I've been asking. I specifically asked Kevin from Roundtable to please stop posting about ratings, because like that is not what the network cares about. I don't know why he does that. That's his thing, I guess. I do think it's a bad omen that they don't have adequate toys. I think my daughter has a toy. It's like a bobblehead thing, but it's not like a real toy. I think they kind of don't care enough about it, but could push it a little more. And I don't think it's in a good place, to be honest with you. But I love that show. I hope it does well. So, question, what should I have for lunch tomorrow? A sandwich. A turkey sandwich. TuneJ723, any musical where you thought the Broadway version was better than the film? No, because I barely know any Broadway stuff. It's expensive. Cornbread, do you remember when they did animated title cards for Best Picture like they did in 2012? I did see those. I do remember those. They were fun. Thank you for the question. You think the Garfield movie can reinvigorate Mark Dindal's career if successful? I think it could help if it does well and people like it. M. Blood T, is the Margot Robbie snub a crime against women? Absolutely. Uh, oh, Austin, you wrote it again? I'm confused. Anyway, question: thoughts on GI Joe? Any past experiences with it, or why does it keep being relevant outside of some? Why does it fail to keep being relevant outside of some collector toys? I was really into GI Joe as a kid. I had the GI Joe General, which is a huge toy. I loved watching the movie. I watched the show. I think you could, but the problem is no one does the sci-fi shit from the 80s. They always like try to make it new and try to do all this other stuff, and it's like clearly like you just do the sci-fi shit from the 80s. Like then it's like don't do all this dumb stuff. Like I think the best they got it was the second movie, and even that like they always just they care too much about the old fans. Like do something. You could do that by just doing the shit from the 80s, and then new people would get into it, I think. So did Cornbread says as a corn? Oh my god. You hope the next season for Clone High to be good? I hope so. I don't know if I finished the last one, to be honest with you. So oh, okay, thank you. I am a little tired, to be honest with you. Alex said, good evening, Mr. Gisriel. I haven't had time to watch movies or TV, but I did just get to access Netflix again. Oh, cool. Jim, Little Shop of Horrors. I am working on that, actually. I'm working on that a lot. It's not a thing I'm taking lightly. I'm not even joking. I'm actually, what should I make a sandwich without any bread? What? Why would you do that? Don't do that. No, that's weird. All right, this Christian Gutierrez will be the last one. When watching The Boy and the Heron in theaters, did you notice references from Lupin III, the Castle of Cagliostro, in the other half of the film, such as the aquatic city, the lake steps? Oh, I mean, yeah, I thought those were Boy and the I thought those were not Boy and the Heron. Can't reference a movie in a movie. Or well, I guess Spaceball did. I thought those were the King and the Mockingbird references, but maybe I was sort of right and you're sort of right too. But that's interesting. I would like to rewatch that one. So, cheers to your crossover with Sinram. Cheers to you. Check out the Discord. It's on there. I'm sorry I couldn't. I think it's over. Anyway, thank you for everyone. Okay, I think we're done. I think my wife wants to go to bed. Thank you for everyone who gave a super chat during the show. Thank you for everyone who is just here and came out to hear me talk about Oscar nominations. Sorry, this was light on the news. There'll be a new Film Round video on Saturday night. I don't know when the next video will be, either Thursday or Friday. But thank you all for watching. Check out, I'm actually proud of my Beekeeper review. I kind of like that. Has some cool stuff in it. I think Cornbread was there. Check that out. Check out the oh, by the way, I liked the reception to Hell of a Has Been Hotel. Very nice. I was worried about that one. Although the Ava DuVernay comments, whoa, I forgot the world I was in. But anyway, y'all have a good one. I'll be back next week and we'll just talk about news. Only a little Oscar stuff that I'm sure some news will break since then. Y'all have a good night, and I will see you all next time, and subscribe if you would like to. All right, see you next time, guys. Thanks for being here, and thanks for the super chats. See ya.